Hello, I am Park Seni, the head of Mind Coaching. Park Seni. I've been doing this for well over 10 years. For nearly 20 years, I have treated many cases of students' game addiction symptoms at the center. Game addiction was in the news just a few days ago. There was a story about a student who killed their mother for telling them not to play games. I also recall a few years ago hearing about a couple who neglected their child, who was dying from not eating while they continued to play games. In this way, whenever we are about to forget, serious social issues related to game addiction keep emerging. Looking at future trends, this issue is likely to become more frequent and more severe. In fact, among the students I have treated, many exhibited severe symptoms of game addiction, such as hitting their mothers. So today I would like to explain the structure of how such severe game addiction develops. First of all, I will talk about one characteristic of the human brain today, which is that the human brain cannot distinguish between reality and imagination. You might not understand what I mean, so let's try this. Imagine a lemon. As you imagine it, you will eventually experience saliva forming in your mouth. This is evidence that the human brain cannot distinguish between reality and imagination. I also remember the movie, The Experiment. In that movie, they make a proposal like this. They offer you about $3,000 to $5,000 to participate in a psychology experiment. The psychology experiment involves setting up a prison with hidden cameras running and having some people act as prisoners and others as guards. At first, both the people acting as guards and those acting as prisoners felt awkward. However, as time went on, they became increasingly immersed and focused on their roles, leading to a rapid deterioration in relationships. After about a week, it escalated to the point of murder, resulting in a completely uncontrollable situation, which is how the movie ends. So why do they become so immersed in their roles, even though it's not real? As I mentioned before, it's because the human brain has the characteristic of not being able to clearly distinguish between reality and illusion. That's why in game addiction, there are various game genres, and the most destructive genre is RPG, and role-playing games. These are games that assign role-playing, just like in that movie earlier. By making them act out roles like this, they start to believe they are the actual character and become completely absorbed and immersed. Then the brain begins to accept that role as reality. This leads to the illusion that they have actually become that character. That's why students who get into role-playing games find it the hardest genre to break away from. However, when the teacher was young, games like Galaga were simple, where you moved left and right and shot bullets to destroy flying objects. So, as you keep playing, you eventually realize that it's not real. But today's games are different. They create a truly immersive experience. Incredibly detailed graphics that you can't help but feel are realistic, majestic sound, and a solid storyline drive you to feel as if it's completely real, even though it's virtual. And VR, so virtual reality, as these virtual realities, are increasingly developed into devices and naturally used in daily life. They will play a role in directly implanting these experiences. In some ways, it creates situations that feel more real than reality itself. For those who are unaware of the characteristics of the brain, they might feel the virtual reality created by others as if it were real, become completely immersed in it, and become indifferent to their actual reality. Consequently, the gap between the rich and poor will widen, and the degree of happiness will differ, leading to a serious situation. How will we solve this? So, they went to a psychiatrist and got a prescription. These kinds of problems can never ever be solved with medication. When I see young children, especially those of young couples, being allowed to use phones and play games from an early age as if it's nothing, I feel very concerned. Even though they are not my children, I watch with a heavy heart, worried about the significant problems this might cause. In places like restaurants, for example, humans have a brain that cannot easily distinguish between reality and imagination, and they have a natural tendency to become absorbed and want to focus on something. Therefore, as adults, parents, or mentors, you need to set an example. So, for those of you who think you might be addicted to gaming, I hope you take the time to seriously reflect on this fact as soon as possible and feel a bit of resentment towards the way others are exploiting your brain's characteristics. Therefore, don't let yourself be commercially manipulated by those who know these characteristics. Instead, avoid indulging in the virtual world and strive to live a more meaningful and impressive life in the real world, becoming a better person. That's all for today, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong. Thank you.